Hey, welcome back, guys. This is Mario and Artisan Kane. We're going to give you guys the commentary for the divisional round matchup between the Dallas Mudsdales and the Florida Barraskewdas. Uh, on Dallas's side, coached by Trico, the commissioner, we've got a Gigalith, Halucha, Ndidi, Inteleon, Claydol, and Hitmonlee. So I played this team twice already this season, and I'm pretty familiar with it. Uh, Gigalith he likes to use as an offensive and not a defensive set. He's been running Sandstream lately, but I've seen him. The first time we battled was Sandforce. Um, he likes to Dynamax it. He likes to put weakness policy on it, and he likes to just go to town with it if you try to proc its weakness policy. Just because it's natural bulk will let it usually live one or two. The bad thing about it though is that it's really slow. Next up, we got Halucha, who is his other sweeper. I would say primary actually to Gigalith, but Halucha can bail him out a lot of times just because of its unburdened. It's fastest mon on his team, really strong, and sometimes he can get a sword stance off if his opponent switches out. Um, he's ran the Psychic Seed set, and he's ran the I believe White Herb, whichever one restores his stats back to normal after he goes for a close combat. In Didi, I've seen him ran male and female. I think he tends to go towards male because he can set up trick room. It's a lot stronger. It's a lot faster. Kind of just fits his style of just fast and strong. Um, so he's got Ndidi there. And next we have Inteleon, who he recently acquired in a trade. Big massive four team trade that I don't really remember the details of. But Inteleon is his newest special sweeper, and he likes to either go Life Orb or Choice Specs. Claydol here, also recently acquired in the trade. He's been doing rapid spin with screens. He used skill swap on me the last time we battled, so he's got a lot of freedom with Claydol and its sets. It's a very supportive mod for his team. And then finally we have Hitmonlee, who I believe also can get unburdened. So, it can be a guessing game between it and Halucha, which one wants to have the Psychic Seed and which one can have the White Herb or whatever. So he hasn't used it since I think week three. I believe we talked about it on the first TPL cast that his Hitmonlee was one of his MVPs for his team, but he dropped it after winning like two games in a row with it or something. And so I think now he picked it back up in the playoffs to kind of maybe rekindle his team and get some more firepower out of it. So, Arson, can you want to talk about Matt's team?
Yeah, so Matt's team is pretty interesting. We haven't seen too many videos of it. I think I've only seen maybe one or two uh, YouTube posts from different people that have played Matt. But Matt's team has been really powerful. It was one of the best teams in the conference for a reason. His team is Barraskewda. Obviously, a huge physical threat, access to stuff like Swift Swim, um, Pukumuku, which is a recent addition. Pukumuku is one of the slowest mons in the game, but it's super bulky, so it can take a lot of hits and just kind of sit there and wall whatever it's facing, and either toxic you and stall you out, what have you. Silvally was one of the most efficient kill leaders this year. Um, it's got huge diversity in what it can run with whatever typing it wants to. So it'll be interesting to see what Matt wants to exploit as he's doing his team previews and whatnot in his prep. What he saw was going to be his best option. Then he's got Drampa, normal dragon. Uh, Not sure too much again what he would do on it, but I know it does have access to stuff like Sap Zipper, so I'm not sure if we'll see something like that or if we'll just see that ability. I think it's called Reckless. where it has a lot more, where it'll hit a lot harder. What else we got? And then we got Quillfish. Quillfish is one of my favorite Intimidate users. Um, another bulky Watermon. It's that poison duality allows it to do stuff like toxic spikes and whatnot, which is really really cool. Intimidate is actually a really big problem for Trico. If he gets an Intimidate off on a mon like Halucha or Gigalith, or even the Hitmonlee, it can be a problem, and it might even get to the point where it'll force a switch. So that'll be interesting to see how Trico approaches that Intimidate user. And then we've got Pharaoh Seed, which was I think a late season addition to Matt's roster. And Pharaoh Seed basically just does everything that Ferrothorn does. Super high defenses and special defenses, and it can take a hit from just about anything that isn't a fire or a fighting move. Um, so if we look at those three, or if we look at Matt's roster, we do notice that there are three Watermons on there, which gives him a pretty big weakness to both electric and grass. And then depending on what Silvally he runs, that obviously that's going to be dependent on that. So we'll see how this match goes. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, same here. It's interesting that like Trico's team, for the most part, it's got like what 3, 4 mons that are really fast, while Matt's team's got 3 or 4 mons that are really slow. So we'll see how that plays into the matchup. But let's go ahead and get started here. We've got the matchup here that Trico was able to record, so we're seeing his perspective. And yeah, let's see how they lead. We don't get to see anything else here. Just right straight into it. So we got a Drampa and an Ndidi. So that's interesting that Trico wanted to lead Ndidi. I don't think he's led Ndidi all season that I've seen. But yeah, let's see how this goes.
So I think that kind of tells us that he wants to immediately get that psychic surge off. He wants to make sure he establishes that terrain, which kind of lets him do whatever he wants to do. Whether he wants to immediately start getting off some psychics, or if he wants to bring in something like the Halucho with the psychic seed early.
Oh,
and we see a trick.
Yeah. So that means this thing was probably Spark or Roselli. Okay. Wait, so that was the Lumberry that he tricked onto the Drampa, right? He's got Roselli out of
it. That's interesting.
Yeah,
so
usually...
the Roselli, yeah, so he put a Lumberry onto the Drampa. And he took the Roselli berry. So the Roselli berry is the fairy resist berry, right?
That's right. So that is really strange. You usually see a choice item. You usually trick onto a support mon to kind of cripple them. So that was definitely not usually seen.
Yeah, I don't think he expected that Draco Meteor there. And we see a Surf come out. So Drampa does have a decent move pool, Surf being one of them. Obviously, doesn't hurt Gigalith that much. It's got a pretty high defense, special defense ratings on it.
Yeah,
and he does force the switch out.
Yeah, that was really good on Matt to have predicted. I don't know if he predicted the Gigalith coming in with that Surf, or if he was just kind of covering the mid ground. I do see the Gigalith is rocking that Sandstream, and it's got body press, which doesn't do anything to the Quillfish.
Yeah, Quillfish is a really bulky mon, so that's not going to touch it. And it's going to have that Black Sludge. Typical set for the Quillfish to make sure it's got that passive recovery. And we'll see how Trico tries to answer that. I'm kind of anticipating a switch, so if Matt wants, he can get up some free Toxic Spikes here.
That's right. I think Trico didn't get a lead right. So, all right. So we have the Claydol coming in. So that's actually good on Trico. He's predicting some kind of spike. But unfortunately, this Quillfish is rocking Toxic instead of the spikes.
So Toxic is big because Trico doesn't have any sort of Steel Mon that can't get Toxic. Doesn't have any bouncers or anything like that. So he can. So Matt can freely Toxic with 100% accuracy on that Quillfish. um, as much as he'd like. It'll be interesting to see here what Trico's plan is with the clay doll.
All right, we see a switch from Matt's side into the Pharaoh seed, and Trico's able to get a substitute off. Not sure if I agree with that, because Clay Doll's already toxic, so hiding behind a sub will just kind of make you more susceptible to that toxic damage.
Yeah, not only that, if your plan is to kind of go after some boosts after the sub, you're not living more than another few turns after that. You're absolutely right. So if he's gonna boost, and it looks like he's gonna nasty plot up. He's only gonna have a few moves where he's gonna be able to actually do something. And I don't know if that Clay Doll has anything that's gonna be able to hit the Pharaoh Seed hard enough.
All right, and we see some stealth rocks coming out from Matt's side. Yeah, I don't know what the Clay Doll does here. That Pharisee's pretty good, just sitting there, chilling. I'm not sure if he's got any more hazards or what other sets it might be running. But yeah, that Pharisee's pretty fine just sitting there for a while.
Yeah, regardless of what moves Clay Doll hits, the Pharisee can take it. And he actually goes for another nasty plus. So now he is at +4, but even at +4, that Toxic is going to do massive damage over time as these turns keep going.
Right, I think trading that Clay Doll for Pharisee is pretty good. All right, we see that Pharisee was able to break that sub now. So I think this Clay Doll's only got one turn to do something. If Matt's smart, he can switch into a resist. And yeah, be fine.
It'll be interesting to see. Okay, so we can see that Trico's move pool there, but I'm not sure how much it's going to actually do. And it does take it very low, but it's not enough to knock out that Pharisee. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that Pharisee. This got leech.
Even after that leftovers recovery. Yeah, even after that leftovers recovery, the Toxic's gonna knock it out. Yeah.
All right, with rocks up, now Trico's got to play with that.
Right, it's gonna be kind of difficult here to see what he's gonna do. Hitmonlee comes out. It does put a lot more pressure on the Pharaoh Seed, but honestly, the Pharaoh Seed is kind of done for. So I wouldn't be surprised if Matt just sacks it at this point and gets some more damage. Oh, he actually switches.
Oh, and we see that Quillfish coming in, so get that Intimidate off. I see that Hitmonlee's actually rocking that Rapid Spin, so that's actually really good to have both Clay Doll and Hitmonlee. If you don't know which one, or maybe both, can rock that Rapid Spin there. So he's able to get the Stealth Rocks off, which is really good for his team.
Like you mentioned in the preview, that actually was holding the white herb, which got activated, which means that the Unburden boost has been activated.
Oh wow, and that Quillfish is doing some damage.
So it'll be interesting to see how he responds. The white herb did negate the Intimidate, but it's still not enough to do in that Quillfish. And we see Inteleon come out here on Trico's side of the field.
Yeah, that Inteleon's never really good to switch in. Even with that Liquidation, that's a resisted move, and it still took about a third, a fourth. I never like switching to my frail mons.
Maybe about 25%, so maybe we're just hoping for some flinches here. It looks like he's doing Air Slash. So it looks like we're going to see a sack of the Pharaoh Seed.
I think that was smart of Matt. That Pharaoh Seed just kind of useless in the red. We know it's probably rocking the ABO Light, so it's got only one way to really recover back health, and that's with Leech Seed.
Right, and being so slow at like 10 base power, there's no way that Leech Seed is going off before it gets hit.
Alright, we see the Silvally come out. Let's see what type it is. Let's see if Trico remembers how to check. If I had to guess, it's probably Steel.
It looks like it might be Steel.
Yeah, it is Steel.
Yeah, it is Steel. So obviously that means that Inteleon really can't do anything to it, especially or even with the specs. It'll be interesting to see what the response is after seeing the steel. I don't think outside of Halucha there's anything he can do. Maybe the going back to the Hitmonlee, but at this point when you're using the switch, you're forcing in you're going to be taking a free hit.
Right. And unfortunately, Trico doesn't get the flinch there. And we see that Silvali's got that Thunderbolt, so it just took that Inteleon out easily.
Yeah, as you said, Inteleon is a pretty frail mon, so it's not going to be able to take those kinds of hits. He might have been hoping there for some flinching, try to get a couple off. But yeah, that's a tough hit. We're seeing some big momentum starting to go in Matt's favor.
Right. I think Trico's still got a chance here, but Matt's playing very defensively, very, very well. Yeah, we see that Quillfish just come in, just easy intimidate off here. This time it's not going to be able to recover from the White Herb.
But even so, it's that close combat doesn't do enough after that intimidate drop. So we might see another close combat just to try to knock it out, which would be great. We definitely want to make sure Quillfish is out of the way. If we're Trico, we want to get that Quillfish out of there. That way, when we want to bring in Halucha, we don't have to worry about that intimidate.
Wow, I think that Quillfish just survived. Oh,
wow,
man.
Barely survived.
But
And gets
Matt,
up some spikes.
Yeah, Matt didn't go for a move. I would have gone for a move there just to finish off that Hitmonlee. But I think maybe Matt thought it was, done for.
Yeah, some extra damage would have been able to do it. Even if you click liquidation or what have you, it should have been enough to knock out the Hitmonlee. So I think you're right. I think that was a pretty not a great move. Now the rapid spin negated the spikes that were put up. But now Matt does get the chance to bring in Barraskewda. So Barraskewda, if it wants, it can just D-max and start. Yep, sure enough.
I was just thinking that. We haven't seen a Dynamax from either opponent. Yeah. So that seemed like the right time.
And this is the perfect. Yeah, this is a perfect time to do it. You can get up a Max Geyser, activate your Swift Swim, and just start tearing through the team.
Right. That was one thing I didn't consider when I was looking at Matt's team. His speed control here is basically Barraskewda, so being able to get that rain up might, I haven't looked at the calcs, but it might be faster than Unburden Halucha.
I'm pretty sure it is. Barraskewda's base speed is like 136. In the rain, I think it doubles, right?
Right, it doubles. With
Swift Swim, it doubles. So even Halucha, unless Barraskewda is like adamant or something, I think even a Jolly Halucha won't be, even a Jolly Halucha might not be able to outspeed it in the rain. So I think right now, if you're Trico, you gotta be pressing that emergency button, figuring out what you can do to get rid of that Barraskewda before it knocks out the rest of your team. At this point, you've just got that Halucha and the Gigalith and the Indeedee that's barely holding on.
Right, that Indeedee just has enough to set up the Psychic Terrain, but after that, it's gone.
Right. So we see Gigalith here. That'll change the weather, which is good, but I don't think it really matters that much because we're just going to see another Max Geyser come out.
Exactly. All right, we see Trico's going to go ahead and Dynamax his Gigalith. I don't know if I agree with that play. I think it would have been better to try to Dynamax the Halucha because with its boost, it might have a chance to muscle through the rest of the team, right? But here, it doesn't. It's just going to lose its weather in the next turn, and then that Barraskewda is going to be able to run away with it.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I think, it'll be able to survive this first hit, but now the weather's changed again, and there's nothing that the Gigalith can really do about it. I don't think the Max Knuckle is going to be doing enough to, threaten the rest of the team here. Yeah, that Barraskewda is still going to be hanging on, so that Gigalith, it can try to get up a guard maybe, try to stall out the Dynamax, but it really doesn't matter. Barraskewda can just hit back with the next turn.
Oh man, unfortunately, Trico gets the quick claw on the one turn he decides to guard, so it would have gone first anyways.
Ouch.
That's a good
Yeah,
tech.
that's the gamble with something like Quick Claw. You know, when it works for you, it's great, but at that point, you're kind of just crossing your fingers and hoping you can get it. So we'll see here, but unless he gets a double protect or something, that Barraskewda can just hit a liquidation and do him in.
And it looks like Trico's ending his Dynamax early. He's probably accepted that he needs the Gigalith to get rid of the rain. So that's actually a really good move on Trico's part.
Yes, I agree with you there. That'll be able to change the weather one last time. You sack off the Indeedee, but you make sure that you get up that psychic terrain. You make sure that you can get up the weather later. So ideally, Halucha can sweep later. It is interesting that we also see that life orb on him, on the Barraskewda, which means it's taking damage from even hitting these the sacks of the Gigalith and the sack of the Indeedee. So that's 20% right there. That's huge damage.
Right, and I think you usually see Barraskewda with the choice band, but I guess when it Dynamaxes,
Oh,
it needs the extra damage. And
so the quick
finally,
clock does activate there, but I actually think you want Gigalith to go down in that situation, so you can get that free switch into Halucha and then start doing your work. Because now Savali comes out, and we'll see how we're able to respond here. Multi attack's probably going to be able to take it down.
all right, Trico's down to his last one. Matt still got what, 3 in the back?
I think Matt is up at this point 3-1. So we'll see if Halucha can come in and do the work. That Psychic Seed is going to get activated, which will raise his special defense. Will also activate Unburden. So at this point, Halucha is going to be able to outspeed everything. It'll just be a matter of can it do enough damage on that one turn to be able to sweep the rest of Matt's team. And we do see the Savali go down to that close combat.
Yeah, I think if you're Matt, you're pretty happy in this position. He's got the Pyukumuku, which we haven't even seen come out, and the Drampa.
Right, so the Drampa probably won't be able to take the close combat depending on how it's EV'd and everything, but the Pyukumuku is going to be incredibly difficult to deal with. Yeah, so the Drampa did fall to that close combat, but that Pyukumuku is going to be tough. I'm not sure what the calcs look like, but I know that base special defense is super high, so we'll see what Trico can be able to do on it.
I actually think Matt would have
Pyukumuku is
been.
also really passive mon, right? I don't think Pyukumuku has anything to do physical damage to it other than, something like a toxic and then try to stall it out.
Right, I think
Oh, we see the taunt.
if you were Matt, you should have went to Pyukumuku first. Yeah, so now Pyukumuku can't do anything. It literally doesn't have any moves.
So taunt absolutely destroys it, and we can just get off some acrobatics or close combat, whatever he wants to do. Really, he's getting what now 4 turns for free.
Right. Oh, counter
Oh,
actually
we see
activates.
counter.
All right, I learned something today.
Wow, counter is huge. Oh man, that looks bad for Trico then, because even if he hits a close combat, that might not be enough to knock out Pyukumuku, and that counter will hit you back hard.
Yeah. I think
Oh
that's his
man,
game.
there it is. That counter. Oh wow. Well, that's huge. Once I saw that taunt on the Pyukumuku, I thought it was done, but Matt was able to have the tech of having the counter on that Pyukumuku and make sure it was able to last out that Halucha threatening of the sweep.
That's right. And I thought, counter was a I guess it is a damaging move, but in my mind, I don't see it as that type. Like I thought taunt would shut down the counter too, but yeah, I learned something today. Taunt doesn't shut down counter. It's still a move. Just because there's no base power associated with it, it's still a move that lets it go through. So man, that was actually really good. Uh, Came down right to the wire. No timer in this matchup, so that's really good. Any last thoughts there, Arson Kane?
Yeah, I mean that was a really great battle. I think we saw some poor moves, but that were made up for in the late game. In the late game, we saw a really great competition, really great moves on both sides of the field to make it go to the last mon. I always prefer to see when matches are closer. I don't particularly like when there's a big 6-0 sweep or anything like that. Especially this deep in the playoffs, we can see why both these teams made it there, and Matt proves once again that he's one of the best teams in the conference.
All right, guys. Well, we don't want to spoil what the results were between me and Arson Kane, but I believe that matchup will go before this one. But just in case it doesn't, we won't spoil that one. So, Matt, look forward to your next matchup. You're in the conference finals. Congratulations to both players for making it this far. Trico, I know you're upset, but hey, man, you made it past the first round. So that's got to feel good. Next season, man, it's all yours. Uh, I picked you as kind of like a dark horse. So for you to make it this far is really incredible. Matt, I kind of dogged you a little bit in the power rankings all season long, but you definitely deserve that ranking of number two in the Hoenn Conference. So again, congratulations to both these guys, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next matchup.
Peace.